Welcome back to the Declarative Academy, where we help you declare it and get it. Today, we're diving into the Add New Users unit from the Lightning Experience User Management module on Salesforce Trailhead. By the end of this video, you'll know how to add, freeze, and deactivate users in Salesforce. This is an essential skill for any Salesforce admin, so let's jump right in. If you want more content like this, please remember to like, subscribe, and, more importantly, please share. First, let's understand what a user account is in Salesforce. A user is anyone who logs in and interacts with the system. This could be a sales rep, a manager, or even an external partner. Each user has a unique account with specific permissions that control their access. Now, before we proceed, let's clarify some key terms related to user management. Usernames. Each user has both a username and an email address. Remember, the username must be formatted like an email and must be unique across Salesforce. It can be the user's email address as long as it's distinct. User licenses. A user license determines which features the user can access in Salesforce. For instance, the standard Salesforce license allows access to core features and chatter. However, if you want to limit access, you can choose from a range of other licenses. If, for example, you need a user to access chatter but not see any Salesforce data, you would assign them a chatter-free license. For more information about licenses, don't forget to check out Salesforce licensing. Profiles. Each user has a single profile that defines their default settings. Profiles can grant permissions and access. While it's possible to configure access via profiles, it's often recommended to use the minimum access Salesforce profile initially. You can then use permission sets and permission set groups for any additional permissions needed. Now, what's the difference between a permission set and a profile? Let's break it down. Permission sets include user, object, and field permissions, custom permissions, Apex class access, Visualforce page access, and tab settings. Profiles define default record types, default assigned apps, login hours, and login IP ranges. Roles dictate what users can see in Salesforce based on their position in the role hierarchy. Users at the top can view all data owned by those below them. Conversely, users at lower levels can't see data owned by those above them or in other branches unless sharing rules are applied. Roles are optional, but remember, each user can only have one. Into larger organizations, assigning roles during user setup can simplify management. Lastly, let's discuss alias. An alias is a shorthand name used to identify the user on list reports or any areas where their full name might not fit. By default, the alias consists of the first letter of the user's first name, followed by the first four letters of their last name. With these terms defined, let's walk through how to add a user in Salesforce. Take a moment to scroll to the bottom of the page and access your Trailhead playground. If you don't have one yet, create a new playground to follow along. Start by opening your Salesforce org and heading to Setup. In the Quick Find box, type Users, then select Users from the results. Once on the Users page, click New User if you're adding a single individual. If you need to add multiple users, select Add Multiple Users. For now, let's focus on adding one user. Now, let's fill out the key information for our new user. You'll need their first name, last name, email address, and a unique username. Keep in mind, the username must be unique across all Salesforce orgs and formatted like an email address. For example, you might enter first name, test last name, user alias. The system will automatically generate an alias, but feel free to update it if desired. Email, enter your email address or a placeholder. Username, use a format like this. Next, select a license for the user. If you want basic access, choose the Salesforce license. Then, assign the profile. For this demo, select Minimum Access Salesforce. Now, about roles, if applicable, choose Western Sales Team from the dropdown. Once everything looks good, check the box that says Generate Password and notify user immediately. This will email them their login information. Finally, click Save. And just like that, you've added a new user. Now, let's talk about security. Imagine you get an email indicating that a user might have a compromised account. No need to panic. Salesforce makes it easy to freeze that user's access until you can secure their account. To freeze a user, go back to the user's page in Setup, locate the user, and click on their username. Click Freeze. This action prevents the user from logging in but keeps their account intact while you investigate. Freezing is great for temporary situations, but what if someone leaves the company? In that case, you'll want to deactivate their account to free up their license. To deactivate a user, go to Setup, find their details, and uncheck the Active box. This ensures the user can no longer access Salesforce while retaining their records and data. Now, let's complete the hands-on challenge in the Add New Users unit. Follow these steps closely to ensure you finish successfully. First, ensure you're in your Trailhead playground. If you don't have one, remember you can create a new one by selecting Create a Trailhead Playground from the drop-down next to the Launch button. Once you're in your playground, go to Setup. In the Quick Find box, type Users and select Users from the results. Now, click New User to open the form where you'll enter the new user's details. First name, enter a first name, for example, Test. Last name, enter a last name, such as User. Alias, the system automatically generates an alias, but you can update it if you like. Email, enter your email address or a placeholder. Username, for the username, use a format like this. The username must be unique across all Salesforce orgs. License, choose the Salesforce license from the dropdown. Profile, select minimum access, Salesforce for the profile. Role, choose Western Sales Team from the dropdown. Once everything looks good, check the box that says generate password and notify the user immediately. This will email the user their login information. Finally, click Save, and you've successfully added a new user. All right, now head back to your module and check the challenge completion. If everything was done correctly, you should see that shiny green challenge completed badge. Yep, more points for you. Every challenge gets you closer to becoming a Salesforce Pro. Well done on completing this hands-on challenge. This is how we keep leveling up your admin skills. Great job. You've just mastered user management basics in Salesforce. Keep practicing and don't forget to subscribe to the Declarative Academy for more tutorials that help you declare it and get it. See you in the next video.